All right, this is the men's 200 meter freestyle long course at the 2025 Toronto Grand Prix. We are looking lane 5, Bill Dongfang, and Quinn Matteis. Quinn, you're gonna have to correct me on that. In lane 7, I know for a fact that I totally missed you, Quinn, on this 200. Didn't even see you on the block. Didn't see you on the heat sheet. So it's my bad. I lose track of you in this race. So for what it's worth, we'll look at it, and then we'll do as much analysis as we can. Here we go.
Take your marks. A reminder, there will be a 10-minute break after the men's 200-meter freestyle, so warm up, warm down.
Sorry, Quinn. Hopefully you see more of the race, but that might be it. All right, so let's start with you, Bill. We've got the most of your, well, we got all your race. So I started this recording early. Let's get up on the blocks. Let's check out our position. Take your marks. I like the back leg where it is. That front leg maybe could be a bit more forwards, a bit more collapsed. Let's see what reacts first. Frame by frame. A little bit of a lift going on. Hopefully that was a take your marks. Sorry, no, oh, this guy's not even ready. We haven't had take your marks yet. There we go. Okay. Look at that. Your leg is a little bit more forward. Love that the back leg is the first thing clearly moving. That front leg being a bit more collapsed would mean that it'd be a bit more collapsed here. You've lost your point of contact on your back foot. So if this was a bit more collapsed, like a spring that's been coiled, right, you'd have more potential energy to release if it was a little bit more collapsed, okay? But nice, good power. Good looking streamline. Head might be a little bit low, a little bit of a flop into the water. Okay, so a little bit more shape to the dive. Up and curling down rather than getting into this, straight body position and then letting effectively gravity drive us down into the pool. I'd rather see us slip into the pool. Good underwater. Nice, easy, powerful first couple of strokes. Kick might be a little bit hot. Kick is a bit high, I would argue. It's a lot of air that you're kicking, and air, classically, not a very efficient source, substance to push off against. So not only because of this high range of motion are you probably expending more energy, but it's also less efficient energy spent. Keeping your kick lower in the water, beating a slurry of air into the water, more effective. Generally good first 50 though. Slow first stroke there. I'd like to see establishing strokes. Take 3 good, solid, fast strokes, right? What you want to be looking like, rather than a big, slow breathing stroke. Breathing right before the turn, I'd rather not. Breathing is an inefficiency that we have to live with. The last thing we want to do is give ourselves another hurdle inside of the flags. Okay, we want to be hitting the wall at maximum potential speed. And by breathing right before we do a turn, maybe you're sick as hell and it didn't affect you, but I bet you it did, okay? And I think that'd be the very wildly safe bet to take. So try not to breathe right before a turn. Try not to breathe right after exiting the wall. You can see, watch these guys on your right, lanes 6, 7, 8. You and Quinn, are hitting the wall relatively at the same, but you're beating lanes 6 and 8, definitely. But because it was such a light push, and because you certainly didn't make it a fight or a race at the first couple of strokes, they've all caught you. Now you make a move. Again, a lot of it. I love it coming from the kick, but it's just such a big kick. Now you kind of back off of that move, and unfortunately, I think you see that the other guys are taking off on you, and you're playing it off a little bit. So I'd rather see a full drive through the whole race, right? Long, easy, powerful strokes supported by an efficient kick, so that when you do decide to make a move like you did in the last, the 50 before this, it is more effective and puts you more in the running. But critically, making decisions to finish races powerfully and strong is a form of practice. Okay. The best practicing, I believe, is practice that simulates racing, but nothing actually stands up against the actual opportunity to race. When we have an opportunity like a Grand Prix at this time of year where we are I was about to say unfit, but I mean we're not tapered, right? We're all kind of beat to hell. We're coming off Christmas still. We're back into school. We're tired. Yeah. It's not ideal. But you have an opportunity to dig deep, or you have an opportunity to let that reality rule you. And I'd rather you practice digging deep. Digging deep critically does not occur when things are easy. If this sport was easy, or if anything else that is easy, like was the thing we were working at, no one would be impressed. But this is hard. And in moments like that where, maybe guys that you were expecting to beat get ahead of you after you tried to make a move and the move didn't work and you go, oh shit. It's moments like that where grit, the concept of being gritty, having that quality is so important. And the more you practice doing something, the better you get at doing it. If you practice swimming a race like that, you'll get good at swimming races like that. If you practice races where you bear down, and regardless of the fact that someone's getting ahead of you, but you give it your all, you'll get good at giving it your all more. And then hopefully when you get to a race that really matters, because this is just a Grand Prix, does it really matter? No, but it's an opportunity for practice, so it does. When you get to that race that really objectively matters, you'll have practiced being gritty, digging deep, working hard, overcoming obstacles, overcoming adversity. And, you know, it'll yield what it'll yield. And I'd rather take that practice than the alternative. So I really liked the opening 100. I think that there's stuff you can work on. You know, the 100 to 150 could use a little work, and you know, that move you tried to make with the increased with rate, you know, I think it was harmed by your kick, right? But see that move through, right? Like if you had really dug down and like let the move cook over a few, like, you know, 10, 15 more meters, it might have yielded a completely different result. You only really gave it a college try of about like 5 meters, it looked like. So overall good, but you know, definitely things to work on. Let's come over to you, Quinn. I know I missed most of a lot of that, but body position, okay, there's got to be, okay, he's our take our marks. There's take our marks. Back leg looks like it's about 90 degrees, nice. Maybe the hips could be a bit higher, maybe you could be a little bit more leaned out forwards. Like, look at this guy from Western, like he is clearly ahead of you, and we haven't even said go yet. Advantage him. Guy in lane 8, haven't said go yet. He's out farther than you, right? So getting a balance point that's maybe a bit farther out, it can yield literally inches, right? And I mean, if you're going to be in a race where inches matter, like, let's get them where we can. I want to redo that. Let's see what goes first. The back leg definitely is firing first. Nice job. Good extension on that back leg, man. I want to look at that front leg. Love it. I am not going to love this, I don't think. Nope, don't. Get those hands together, right? It's a hydro brake hitting the water. You've just done a lot of work and having a really good dive. Like, look at it. You're beating everybody other than lane 8. Like, he's in the water before you, but you've picked a farther spot, and I think you're going to, because you've picked a farther spot, accelerate past him on this underwater. But, like, this is harming you. So you've used all this energy, you've executed it really well, and then the first point of contact you've had is slowing you down. Generally pretty good entry. Great breakout, very easy. You look like you're out for a Sunday swim. We love that. Bit of a hiccupy hitch in your stroke on your breathing. Certainly happening on your right. I don't think you breathed on your left, so maybe it'll happen on this length. Or maybe you only breathe on your right. I'd like to see the first opening strokes of any given length be a non-breathing stroke, just to establish yourself, right? Like, even if you're going to do a 200 where you're breathing almost every stroke like you are, I'd love the first 2 to 3 strokes to be non-breathing so that you can establish a higher velocity, set your stroke up for success, set the stroke rate that you want it to be at, because we can see you have a bit of a hitch in your breath, right? Like, that hitch is establishing the cadence you're going to work with the rest of the 200. Look at this, right? You're already ready to breathe. And partly is because, like, you're hitting the wall and you're choosing to come up for air. Drive out, get two strokes in, at least 3 strokes maybe, and then you're allowed to have your breath. Okay. Looking good though, looking powerful. Maybe that left arm. No, ignore me. Like, you're clearly, like, I think you're working harder here. You're trying to really race here, but you're kind of getting hurt by the fact that your stroke rate has got that hitch in the breath. And here's where I lose you. So let's looks like you're doing. Wow, look at your kick. Let's try and let's get a little farther ahead here. Let's try and. Sorry again. Overall, it looks pretty nice, and you know, that finish, Maybe do we need that last stroke? You know, you got long arms, right? Like, where is that hand? And, you know, like, it's a little hard to tell with this perspective, but, like, I think you're only, like, 2 feet away from the wall, man. Right? Like, what would happen if you just glide it on that? Well, maybe it'd mess you up. But, like, you see how you did a full stroke recovery on your right arm and your shoulders didn't move? Like, look where your shoulders are. And they move like inches in the space that your arm has the full recovery. Like, I bet you could have touched the wall if you just glided out with that left hand. Would have saved you some time. Overall, great swim, dude. Really like that.